Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Rocket Monday, we're going to talk about penalty of overpromising and underdelivering. It's not as harmless as you think, so let's dive deep into it. So what's the context? Why the heck promise comes into this play? Well, there are times when we need something new, and I mean new as in like it does not exist kind of, not a new car, a new thing that does not exist. In those sort of time, does not matter whether you are USSR, USA, India, whatever have you, we call upon industry to make it real. It's like we want this thing that does not exist, make it happen. Industry will take science and engineering and give you the product. Now here's the inherently this is a messy thing to ask because you do not know what you do not know, and since it's not done, it's not a real thing yet, nobody knows how to do it. So that creates a very complex how the heck you bill it. So to solve that, there is a complex financial plan drawn up for it. For example, basically a company like Honda knows how much money it's going to spend to make a new car. The only unknown is how popular or how unpopular that car would be, but they know like okay, sheet metal has this sort of price, stamping press has this sort of price. Things are known, like they're done, they're good, they're sorted. But when you're talking about something that does not, for example, let's say single stage to orbit or a nuclear rocket or basically rover, which allows you to have basically a spacesuit outside of the craft and you'll be able to go in from the back. And that was the design that NASA came up with this. That would have made sure that inside was clean and they will not have that dust issue which Apollo crew suffered from. So this is a completely new thing. How would you come up with it? How would you design it? How would it work? So all those things require us buffer. Now buffer is not very simple because you might think, okay, it's just a material experiment. Here's the deal, they might have to develop a completely new tool. For example, America would be like, yo, I want a plane that has a wing that sweeps. It's like, cool, awesome. And they're like, okay, we need this performance. Like, whoa, that means the hinge box has to be lightweight. And they're like, okay, we're going to make titanium. But here's how the heck you weld a titanium? Oh, to achieve the quality requirement, you might as well use electron beam welding. And be mindful, this is long ago. They did not have that technology like, copy paste. It's like it was not done yet. They had to develop that. So that's what we classify as unknown and unforeseen. You have to have money for that. Now, of course, there will be some transparencies like, bro, we are developing this. Do you think we can sell this technology to civilian use, or you want to classify it as a military secret? That's up to you. So all of those things have to be accounted for in pay. So even if product cost is low, the pipeline cost will be bonkersly high. And there are checks and balances, because again, this seems way too forgiving to people who are developing it, and yes, it has to be, but there has to be some limitation. So SpaceX basically Boeing cannot just say, oh, we are building this part and it's a difficult part. It's like, no bro, it's a known part. It's a copy paste from space shuttle tanks. We know how long it should take. You are taking too long. So there has to be checks and balances. There always has to be. And times where people have not or like a very loose checks and balances, projects have failed. So advanced checks and balances has to be there to stop misuse. It's like, okay, you are building it, things have to happen, and some tolerance and delivery has to be there. For example, if you're like, okay, going from 10 ton to low Earth orbit to 100 ton to low Earth orbit, you have to have some wiggle room. You might not get rocket on time, or you might get rocket that is only 90 ton to low Earth orbit, but you have to have wiggle room. This is on you. You can cancel it, oh, it only met 90% of it. That's on you. So that is up to you. And however, let that be very clear, some projects are what we classify as time sensitive and have dependency, as in, if this does not work, other things will not work. Because for example, let's just say Indian government goes to a corporation, it's like, bro, give us a fighter jet. They're like, okay, cool, we're gonna give you a fighter jet in 10 years. Cool, awesome, GG. But here's still India still needs fighter jets. So the India will go to some other supplier and be like, hey, give us fighter jets for 15 years. They will always have some buffer, right? It's a dumb idea to not have buffer. So they're like, okay, for 10 years they are claiming 1 or 2 years of delay, cool, fine, nothing happens. And 1 or 2 years of testing, fine, nothing happens. And then they'll have smooth switchover. That's how you logically plan things. But here's the, imagine that project was 30 years delayed. Yeah, now you do not have the money to pay for it, and not to mention your dependency has risen. Now you have to pay more to that project. So that has issue. And be mindful, these are time sensitive things, so things can get dicey very soon. So what is the penalty when this does happen? When somebody's like, we're going to deliver you the moon, and they do not deliver you the moon, what the hell happens? Well, loss of time and money. This is a very common thing to understand. It's not just money, it's also time. Time cannot be gained back, and money lost generally means coming from somewhere else. So there is what we classify as catastrophic and unforeseen consequences. You may not know or not even figure out in years, like, oh, this was a penalty of it. For example, let's just say America's like, we're gonna build a hadron collider. Cool, awesome, GG. And colleges and all that. Okay, let's train a bunch of students. Let's have some professors. Let's have some kids who gonna master it. And because again, it's a big project. It's gonna take like, let's say 8 years to build it, and then these students will be just out of the college and like, boom, go, money, research, knowledge. And then you're like, oh, let's cancel it, or it gets delayed so long there's like, bro, they need a job, they all go to Europe, and you're like, oh, that was unintended consequences. So there are issues where you cannot just like, who cares? No, there is a penalty. Like, your words have to have meaning. Little bit of buffer, no problem. X in delay, yeah, that's not acceptable. So, and India has this experience which we call gap in national security. For example, India-Pak war, India got bitch slapped from USA, and it's like our GPS was cut off. Now, again, we did pay for military GPS, everything was done properly, legally, but to de-escalate the situation, because again, we both had nukes at that point in time, they're like, okay, we're gonna stop it, and like basically one side is like, we're gonna cut your GPS, so you're gonna stay put. We're gonna activate his GPS, so you're gonna stay put. So that was like, they were doing mediation. But again, it taught India a very valuable lesson. Thou shall not buy weapons technology from somewhere else. So we're like, okay, what did India do? India was like, okay, go to ISRO. ISRO is like, okay, we're gonna give you money, as in government will give ISRO money to make Navik. That's what they call it. And Navik originally was planned by this year, as in like 2025, it would be global, meaning we can launch ICBMs and cruise and whatever have you without ever requiring to call on someone else to provide us navigation. Like, we should be like, we got this, bro. We good. We got this. But here still, that did not happen. This is 2025 and we still only have national coverage. And be mindful, most of the satellites are stayed in the orbit before the constellation was complete, because constellation requires boom, 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 launch. Not like one launch, wait 4 years, then launch another. Like, lifespan of the satellite is wasted. So we had still gaps in the system, meaning thankfully no other war broke out at that time frame in India's borders where we needed something and we did not had something. So loss of capability and basically sovereignty compromisation. It's like, oh, we have to ask someone else. We have to ask Russia for GLONASS. We have to ask Europe for Galileo. We have to ask China. Again, we're not going to ask them. But like, you get the point. It's a very serious thing. National gap is not a laughing matter. It's like, it's a serious thing. And loss of capability is an uneasy dependency. For example, space shuttle was a failed project. Yes, it was a failed because it's supposed to have 3 delivery points. It's supposed to be cheap. It wasn't. It's supposed to be quick, as in they were targeting almost 2 launches a month. They barely got 2 launches a year. So it was not cheap, nor it was high cadence, and it was not also safe. Be mindful, like we basically USA sent people to moon and back, 0 loss of life, as in like, you may able to count Apollo 1 fire, but that's up to you, but nothing in space. This puppy went a boomer 2 times, kaputting 14 people, and I think that's so far, and I hope it remains the highest poof count. So this was not a good project. But here's the deal. America knew. They're like, okay, let's create some backup. And they created backup. Backup was not delivered. What was the penalty? Washing machine still has people. And this is how you know Russia is actually not growing. Like, this was washing machine cool, awesome for 1970s. It was amazing for 1970. This is still 1970s in 2025. They still have a washing machine where just kaput 3 people there and hope for the best. Like, this is the modern. Even a space shuttle was better. Like, they started with like America started with this, went to this, which was much bigger, much more comfortable, to this, which is a bit of compromise, but still much better than washing machine. So you get the point. Like, they had America in a situation where America is like, Russia, can you carry our astronaut to our section of the space station? Not recommended. So, and loss of national pride and prestige is a real thing. It's not just like, oh lol, who cares? It's just like, flexing contest. No. There is a real benefit. Like, if you have a country that is flexing in that way, like, we choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. This is what we call a brain magnet, meaning you're going to attract intelligence from all over the planet. And what is the one thing money does not buy? Intelligence. Buy it, attract it by spending it wisely. So that's why you want a country that's like, hey, we are building hadron collider. People are like, YOLO. Hey, we are building semiconductor fabrication. YOLO. So people want to go. Like, there are 2 types of people. First, like, barely hanging on, and there are like so competent. It's like, bro, job is not an issue for me. Give me something worthy of my intelligence. And you want to attract those sort of people. So you create that. So prestige does play a role, and be mindful, it has very big impact on global politics. For example, imagine India did not develop its space agency. We could not have a good partnership with all the accessories countries or neighboring countries with our basically surroundings, be it Nepal, be it Bhutan, be it Bangladesh, be it Sri Lanka. But because we have, so we can say like, hey, why go to West? Why travel so far to launch your satellite? We can do it for you, brother. So there is a lot of leverages, small ones, but if you have enough small one leverages pulled together, it has a big impact. So there is a penalty. You cannot just say, delay, who cares? No. People care. And again, there is a genuine reason to care. It's not just like, hee hee, ha ha. There is penalty for it. So let's give a concrete example. That is JWST. Now everybody knows this puppy was bad. The basically Hubble was a oops mistake simply because they built a Hubble which was a repurposed spy satellite, and they're like, okay, let's take this, let's grind this puppy properly, and it's like awesome, GG. They forgot it, they messed it up, and they're like, oops. Thankfully, it was still grinded precisely. It was just offset. They're like, okay, let's put a corrective lens. Everything's fine. But they're like, yeah, we need a better replacement. Next Generation Space Telescope, 1996. That was the proposal starting point. And the original target was like, okay, we're going to start giving money when we want our puppy. That was in 2010. And you're like, wait a minute. Doesn't that mean 11-year delay? Yeah. That's a big delay. And the delay was bad, like bad. And not to mention cost overrun was also bad. So cascading effect was multiple small projects were cancelled and a lot of money was rediverted. Basically, Terrestrial Planet Finder, that was a separate project, almost of the same scope as this. People think like this is a flagship project. No. This project was like a mild project. Flagship is ISS. This should not have become this expensive. The original price was $500 million. They upgraded to 1 billion and then it went kaput. It's just like 10, this is not worth $10 billion. Like if NASA would have originally got it, you want a telescope that is $10 billion? No. So, and be mindful, all other projects were similar sort of scope, like, Terrestrial Planet Finder, Space Interferometry Mission, all of those were canned. And you hesitate, people complain about like, NASA does not get enough money. They did get enough money. You can see this is from 1997 to 2009. Like they keep going up. Like, okay, why the heck it crashed after that? Market was crashed. So they kept increasing it, but here's the deal. No money went to something useful because again, when you give something like NASA more money, you expect more diversity. It's like, okay, you got one puppy dealing with infrared, one puppy dealing with ultraviolet, one dealing with X-rays. That's what you want, like, full spectrum coverage. What they were like, okay, you give more money go into basically JWST. That's why like it was not as glorious as it could have been. The original project, there were like a lot of things like this. Now joke about it, like the telescope that ate astronomy, and it did, financially it did. So that was a very serious issue. Now on top of that, that 10-year had what we classify as scientific opportunity cost. It's not a joke to say there's like people spent their whole career on one mission. For example, Voyager people who like started Voyager, they actually retired and Voyager is still working. So it's normal sort of thing. But here's the deal, when you delay something like that, how much that delay will cost you? Like, let's just say you started this project, people will go into your college and they're like, and again, these things are planned well in advance. Like if you want to understand how long humans can plan things for, look into how much planning was done for Large Hadron Collider. This was before internet. That's how long ago they planned for it. So how much that 10-year means, like what does it mean? It simply means somebody's 1/3 job is gone. Like basically people can easily live for 90 years and you are generally very capable and competent from 30 to 60, and after that you retire. So that is your sweet spot. In that, if you are delayed by 1 or 2 years, no, it's like it's manageable. If you delay by a third of it, that's a big thing. So, and be mindful, you could have worst case scenario, which has happened in other industries where delay caused so much hassle. People just left. It's like people went to other industry because they had to feed themselves. So, and it has happened. Like when you see like steel mill closing, it's very hard to restart. That's the reason. Once people move out, it's difficult. Same thing happens in this also. So there was a serious issue. And worst penalty was it got Government Accountability Office looking into NASA. Penalty? Everything now costs more simply because GAO requires them to do far more audits, and that audit itself has to be audited. So again, it should not have been done. Like it should not have been needed. And be mindful, the ironic part is JWST was not that expensive. It's the foil. They could not figure out the foil. And I'm not joking. There was one vibration test and they had a bolt falling out. I'm like, didn't we solve this? Like we know how to make planes where bolts don't fall off. Like bolts should not fall off. It's like, what the hell was happening? It's like, it's the foil that I'm like, this went so much overboard now. It would have been cheaper, just like, bro, the telescope and have a separate rocket just for foil and slowly guide it with ion thrusters to dock with it. It would have been cheaper. But again, you can understand, like, if you keep burning more money and now you're like, now people are like, oh, NASA's budget is being cut. Of course it's being cut. You cannot burn money and go to GAO. Hey man, sorry man, we asked for 500 million, now we took it 11 billion. That's not something that goes by. And again, government has a limit. They have other contracts. And if you can burn billions of dollars, nobody will give you more billions of dollars so you can burn it. It's like, money burning parties are not economical. So that was penalty of JWST. You would be shocked how many projects were just like, shh. And now NASA wants, like, we have a flagship project. It's like, no, this became a flagship project. It should not have been. A human project is a flagship project, not a $10 billion telescope. Now we come to SLS, a true flagship project. Now be mindful, that was not the name of the original puppy. George W. Bush came up with this idea, and the project name was VSE program. And this was penned in 2005. And the idea was replacement for space shuttle. Again, America was not that stupid where they're like, okay, we do not have a replacement for space shuttle. No, they knew that they needed replacement for space shuttle, and they were working on it. And it was big. Like, Constellation was so big, it was like true American beauty kind of thing, like, big energy, like big. How big? It would have made Starship look baby. Not even joking. It was actually designed to put people on Mars. And they actually designed a Narva rocket series to basically carry liquid hydrogen and having nuclear heaters to like whoosh, and achieve like 900 atmospheric impulse and to actually go to Mars and come back. That's how far they were going. So they're like, okay, cool. 2005, cool enough. When they were expecting this, 2015, that was their time for low Earth orbit. As in 2015, you're gonna basically dock with ISS, and like, again, step by step. That's how you do it. You want big, bold things, you have to plan it step by step. So 2015, like 10 years, not that big. And be mindful, they were wise enough to like reuse the components of basically space shuttle. So you have 4-stage boosters, add 5-stage boosters. 5-segment booster. And again, they even tested it, actually made it and launched it. But Obama comes into the office and is like, yeah, this is kaput. Let's shift this the project. Now here's why. Nothing was on time. Like, only basically this capsule, as in Orion capsule, was the only project that was like at least reaching the timeline. It was like, it was delayed by percentage. Every other component was delayed by X, like, yeah, engine, yeah, 3x delay. The tanks were being delayed. I'm not even joking. Tanks were delayed. Solid booster, done. Tanks, lol. Design review, done. Everything actually, yeah, lol. So Obama kaputs it, but here's the deal. Congress does not like this idea. It's like, hey, what the hell? So at that point in time, Congress makes SLS to safeguard all that system. Now, why? Well, this idea I used to understand, now I hate it, is that keeping the jobs. Here's the deal. I know India got destroyed because of this mindset of like, government job. Why does people want government jobs? So they cannot be fired. Why they do not want to be fired? Because if they go actually into free market and they have to compete in their skills, capability, and actual deliverability, they'll all be kaput. They'll all be kaput in 5 seconds. So they're like jobs. And again, this is also insulting to those people. It's like, oh, you're telling them they cannot create a new useful thing and they have to just keep dragging on some old BS things. That happened. And they're like, okay. You wanted to keep same thing same, instead of like, okay, those people are trained space professional. They can do other space trained things. No, they can only do same turning and same welding and all that they've been doing for space shuttle. I'm like, that's insulting, but I get that. Easy, dumb thing. So Congress was like, okay, we're gonna make it into SLS, Senate Launch System. So Senate Launch System had a target point of 2017. Yeah, it was still delayed. Be mindful, the work is still going on. Work never stopped. Constellation was just gone. Like, basically, if you look into the original Constellation projects, you're like, damn, like this was their moon landing system. And you're like, okay, this looks big. Yeah, this would have made Apollo look like, bro, please. Like, bro, please. So idea was like, and they were very thought out, like actually thought out. It's like, okay, how the heck you gonna do it? Like, bro, we got this, we good. They actually, logical thing, dock things into low Earth orbit, then go. I was like, damn, they had brain. So this happened, and there was 6 years behind schedule. Now here's the deal. That itself is not that bad. If they had the pipeline sorted, the pipeline was also effed up. As in one launch, and you're like, okay, second launch will be quicker. No, second launch will be even worse, because I'm not joking. NASA did not know who to hire in order to build the tower, the rocket holding tower. The Mark II tower, basically for this one, the upgraded puppy. Yeah, it's still under construction. They're still lol. It's $1 billion over budget. Let that sink in. A tower on a transporter system is $1 billion over budget and behind schedule. They could not find someone who can know how to build towers. Like, how the heck that happened? And again, if basically Constellation would have worked reasonably, I'm not expecting like on time delivery. Reasonably, China's lunar mission would have been like, bro, who cares? They're like, bro, we landed on Mars. That was George Bush's original idea. It's like, nobody should be even attempt to catch up to us. Like, no. But that did not work out. And again, you should really look into Constellation. I have provided a video. It was like ballsy, like American balls. It's like, balls. But then we have Senate launch system. Oh, by the way, this is still delayed. They have no idea how to weld it. Now we come to Starship. Now, Starship is not actually Starship. The Starship is basically a third iteration of one idea. The idea was interplanetary transport system. It was done by Elon Musk. I'm not saying it. For some reason, people find why you are talking about carbon fiber. It's like, I'm not talking about it. Elon Musk was doing it. And that was launched to public in 2016. Now, this was big puppy, like big. So 12 meters. Now, why does that matter? Well, here's the bigger the diameter, the better surface area to volume ratio, meaning your tank weight versus tank's propellant weight goes in far more optimistic direction, meaning your tanks per ton, basically how many tons of material you need per ton of propellant goes exponentially better. Basically, bigger you make it, the better it becomes. So, and insulation also improves just by mathematics. So they're like 12 meter. Like we have only worked with 9 meter and they're like 12 meter, like go balls to the walls. It was amazing. And it was 100% carbon fiber, which mind you, in 2016, and he was actually showing parts, like this is actual part, not CG, actual part. And that was like, whoa. Like here's the deal. If that time you would have picked up a phone, it's like, bro, we need someone who knows how to deal with carbon fiber automotive parts. They're like 10,000 people, take it and go. Like, I want a carbon fiber aeronautics part. Shut up, take money, go. Like, okay, I need carbon fiber that can handle cryogenic liquid in space environment. Nope. So I have no idea how the heck they found people to work on this. Again, people had to work to actually develop the capability, but they did. And it's a physical part. And they built it, they tested it, and it was like amazing. So not only it had the mathematics working for them because of the big diameter, but because the rocket would have been so lightweight because of carbon fiber construction, it would have might have actually worked. Might. But they realized very early on it was too stupid. It's like, yeah, Elon Musk was not actually that rich. And people sometimes kind of fail to understand. He has money from Tesla stock. If he just cashes all the stock, he will not have money. So that's why, Starship is not being built by Starship. It's being built by NASA. It does need some money. SpaceX can chip in some money, but there has to be a revenue course. Without that revenue course, it does not like, oh, I have trillions of dollars. No. So it was too stupid, and they're like, okay, let's scale it down. Let's stop the joint. Let's bring it down. They created what we call a big Falcon rocket, and that was scaled down. Then they renamed it to Starship, and that time they were selecting the materials. Original design was still carbon fiber, then they decided to switch to stainless steel. And this time they made a promise to NASA. This promise landing was 2026. Why 2026? That would have been given enough buffer that China's landing was not on horizon. China was way far away. Be mindful, this was few years ago. So China was so far away that they did not even have tested lunar landing thoroughly, let alone lunar soil return, which they have done by now. So that was the original plan. But here's they have done 11 testing and still not. And many tell, oh, it's a testing. Why does it matter? No, testing matters because in space industry, testing simply means test once, does it work or not, everything is good or not. Test two to verify. If it's a human mission, test third time, the end, go home. Go home. There is no idea continuous testing and improvement. No, even a Falcon 9. By the way, Falcon 9 first time deployed the payload. It had dummy shadow. It did the work. It's like, it did work. Falcon Heavy did the work in one launch. Like it did the payload delivery. And of course, after that, you can keep refining it. After that, you're like, okay, originally they had the 9 engines in a square block. Then like, okay, then they have octagonal shape. You can go YOLO on it, but like deploy the payload first and then refine the design. That's how it has to work. That's how the contracts work. They do not have the design done. Again, I'm pretty sure the people who are on the ITS, they already left, because again, SpaceX has a really bad burn rate. A lot of engineers leave them, and not to mention, many of the engineers have their own companies now. So it's a very serious chance that all the original engineers, they kaput, and BFR scale down does not work simply because stainless steel is not that light, and they did not scale it down the material, as in like carbon fiber would have worked, lithium aluminum and iron may have worked, stainless is just too goddamn heavy. So why the heck they did not knew, they just hoped that Raptor engine would be over powerful. It's not. Like again, 11 testing proves that it's not that powerful. So flat out. And again, design is not final. That is also another bad thing. It's like SLS, still one design, launch it, and once you are done, once it's sorted, then you upgrade the second part. Not like, okay, we launch it, it does not work, let's redesign it, launch it, then it does not work. That's not how it works, not 11 times. And why is that? Simply, it's too goddamn heavy. As in, depending how you want to classify, either the rocket is too heavy or the Raptor engines are not powerful enough. And would Raptor 3 solve it? Unlikely. So this is V1, which they launched. This is from them, not me. 15-ton to low Earth orbit. Yes, Starship was 15-ton to low Earth orbit. 100% useless. As in like Falcon 9 is like, what's the point? And like, oh, second stage reuse? No, they could not have done that. And even if they did, the rocket was so expensive. The propellant mass was so high, it was like not worth it. Then the V2, 35-ton to low orbit, still lower than Falcon Heavy. And now they're claiming by V3, they're going to have 100-ton plus into orbit. Now, Raptor 1 was here, Raptor 2 was here, Raptor 3 is a little bit better. Only the engine weight from Raptor 2 to Raptor 3 has gone down drastically. So let's see whether they will be able to do it. Likelihood is low unless the ship design is lighter, like the amount of stainless steel they are using is much lower in V3 design. It could work. Likelihood is low. Again, let that be clear. All the problems can be solved. It's just that, can they solve it in before 2026? Answer, hell no. Because again, there was another milestone. Go to orbit, do propellant transfer, and then again, NASA will give you the next batch of money. Not done. So there is penalty. And again, this idea of 22 refueling, this project will be cancelled. Like I can guarantee you, if they require 22 refueling to go to moon, it will be cancelled in 2 or 3 launches. If not, America will go kaput. That's how much money burning party that is. Not long-term sustainable. Compare that to basically what Constellation wanted to do. Far more logical. Deploy one big thing, deploy another big thing, dock them in orbit, ta-da! Done. Why the heck he wanted this? Like, and he has this habit. If he got a bad idea in his brain, he will fight for it. It's like, what if I remove LiDAR? Sir, people will die. Okay, people died. Okay, now your company is no longer even like, leading in the self-driving. Oh, what if we drill a hole in the ground and call it magic? Bullshit. And people are like, sir, this is shitty metro. Sir, this is shitty road tunnel. But sir, this shit. And people bought it. People bought it. People call it, what they call it? Oh, the boring company. So again, if he gets a bad idea, people just support it like it's like read logic. There is penalty. It has become just like SLS. And again, worse than SLS because SLS at least can still, in principle, do the lunar mission in principle before China does. So again, time is critical here. So let's see. Let's see what happens. So this was my presentation on basically there is penalty of over-promising and under-delivering. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me success 1 minute. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.